yourself a lot of good the day you stop to inherit broken advice. About 4 years ago, I visited the mother of one of my friends. We were sitting in our living room watching an Hollywood movie, and it was one of those dramatic scenes where a husband betrays his wife. And before I knew it, the movie turned into a lesson section for us in the sitting room. She started advising us, me and our daughter, about men. She said men are wicked, that we should never trust them, and that when we marry, we should never let our husband know everything that we own. She made an example that if we make 1 million naira, we should tell our husband we were making 100k so that we can save ourselves a future trouble. Now, I knew she meant well. I could tell she was trying to protect us, but as a discerning person, I also sensed something deeper. She was speaking from a place of hurt, and I understood why. Because at that time, I knew she had been married 3 times, and none of those marriages succeeded. So I glanced at my friend and saw how she was nodding in total agreement to what her mom was saying, swallowing everything. But something inside of me pushed me to ask one question. Are these the same principles you applied in your marriage? She immediately said yes. I asked the second question. Did it work? And silence was the answer I got.
Man, this conversation will be very profound. What she's going to unpack is a reality that we're actually going through in this time right now. What I can tell you is that there are so many people who are passing down their pain, people who are passing down their trauma to their children. We're seeing this from women passing it down to their daughters. We're seeing that fathers are passing it down to their sons. And this is happening. It's becoming commonplace. And all of us have seen it play out in our own circles, in our own families. And so what she's about to unpack is very important. I want you to stay tuned in. But before we continue, make sure you like the video, comment on the video, and also subscribe to the channel. Let us continue with this conversation.
She didn't expect that question. The truth is, if those strategies failed 3 times, why would they suddenly become wisdom for us? And yet, she was passing that same mindset to her daughter and myself, unknowingly preparing us for the same cycle of failure she has gone through. And that right there is the tragedy of our generation. We are inheriting broken philosophies from people who never healed. We are absorbing dysfunctional wisdom packed as life lesson. And if you don't learn to filter voices, you will repeat the exact same mistakes they made. This generation has given a microphone to everyone with an internet connection. And the dangerous part of that is that people listen to anyone loud enough, even if they are broken. Everywhere you look, there are men with no stable marriages, no healthy relationships, no self-awareness, giving millions of other men advice on how to deal with women. I saw a video recently of a popular man advising men ever to open a business for their wives. And if they do, it must be registered in their own names. He also said that men should control the account, limit the access of the wife, and make sure that the woman is financially dependent on them so she would never have the option to leave. I read the comment, hundreds of thousands of likes, thousands of reposts, and I shook my head. How do you take marriage advice from a man who has never built a healthy marriage himself? How do you allow a broken person who did not even have a worthy marriage example? How do you take a marriage advice from someone who never even came from a good home?
I think this is what happens when you live in a generation where people's academic credentials are what become the basis for trusting them to say they can give me marriage advice, relationship advice. Why? Because they studied psychology at college, or maybe they did relationship counseling at college. But I think the only qualification for giving sound marriage advice is a working marriage. Okay, it's a working marriage. Is this person having a working marriage? At the same time, is spirituality. You can trust a person if you know what they believe in. Okay, so spirituality and also having an example of a good marriage yourself. That's what gives you credentials for actually being a person who is a source of counsel in this area. But now what she's saying is so true and very important. Listening to a broken person give advice, you are bound to repeat their brokenness in your own life. You need to be a person who is able to check the people who are giving you advice. How are they living in their own lives? What have they built? What have they constructed? Are they having success in the very area they are espousing advice in? Are you seeing a level of success? Are you hearing what I'm saying? So let us continue with this.
How do you allow a broken person to become your blueprint for life and marriage? And it's not just men. On the other side, we have women who have been deeply hurt. Women with unhealed wounds and bitterness who now position themselves as relationship experts on social media. Their entire brand is built on teaching women to distrust, to manipulate, and always have a backup plan.
Oh my God, that backup plan issue is actually commonplace right now. I was actually having a conversation with my wife some months ago about this. How so many women actually nowadays are being trained to actually think of option B, to actually think of a backup plan. What if this doesn't work out? If this doesn't work out, I have a fallback option. I actually saw a scenario of a certain lady who was taking her man's money and keeping it for herself as savings in case a divorce happens. Are you hearing what I'm saying? So from the beginning, there is preparation for failure. And so people are cultivating these things and thinking that it's actually sound marriage wisdom. It's not. That's what you begin to say. But people are taking this up. People are even living like this. People are walking into marriage with these mindsets. And so they wonder why their marriages and relationships don't work. Okay, but this is what is becoming commonplace. It's scary. Okay, it's scary. Let us continue.
Yoruba people have a saying, "Ẹni tó bá máa dáṣọ ni tọrùn ẹ̀ la máa kọ́kọ́ wò." Before you let someone clothe you, you need to first of all examine the one they are wearing by themselves. So if someone has failed repeatedly, if their own life is in chaos, if they have no fruit to show for what they preach, why are you making their voice your compass? Here is the bitter truth. Some of you are walking into marriage ready for war before the battle even begins.
This is so profound. This mindset that she's addressing right now, it can literally put you in a position where you begin to anticipate negativity from your partner even before they actually inflict that negativity on you. Sometimes a good person may be in your life, but because of your mindset, you can actually begin to pinpoint certain things that you think are exactly what you expected. And the next thing you know, you can destroy the very same thing that you're trying to build. This mindset it can help you self-sabotage. It can help you kill the very thing you're trying to help resuscitate. Are you hearing what I'm saying? And so most of the times we come into marriage, into relationships with a very negative mindset. A mindset that does not feed the marriage, but actually destroys it. You can begin to look for battles where there are no battles at all. Why? Because you armed yourself with this mindset to begin with. Are you hearing what I'm saying? Let us continue with this.
You are already preparing strategies to hide money, punish your spouse, to withhold affection, to control or dominate, all based on the advice of broken and wounded people. You are guarding your heart, not out of wisdom, but out of fear. And guess what? Fearful people build fearful homes.
That is very true. I'm sorry I'm stopping this clip so many times, but I think the wisdom is so profound. Are you hearing what I'm saying? All of these things, all these mindsets are being built and rooted in fear. And God does not advise us to do things that way. You cannot begin to form a structure in your marriage from the standpoint of being afraid that the marriage may not work. How can you prepare for a disaster that doesn't exist? How can you be so prepared for an emergency, a disaster, when actually the survival of that institution is dependent on your actions? If this is your mindset, then your actions will be compromised. You literally begin to function in such a way that if it happens that this thing doesn't work, I'll be okay. And sometimes you can begin to sabotage that thing without even knowing it, because your mindset is negative to begin with. Are you hearing what I'm saying? Oh my God. How can you be so rooted in fear? How can you harbor mindsets that are rooted in fear? How can you harbor philosophies that are rooted in fear? Am I making sense in any way? Dysfunctional people create dysfunctional marriages, and until you break the cycle, you will inherit the very pain you were trying to avoid. A wounded person cannot guide you into wholeness. A bitter man cannot teach you how to love. A broken woman cannot show you how to heal. A failed marriage cannot define your blueprint for success. It is a responsibility to filter voices, to test all spirits, to look beyond the words being spoken and discern the pain behind them. You need to stop swallowing every life lesson. Stop letting social media teach you this function disguised as wisdom. Stop inheriting broken philosophies just because they sound deep or because they are coming from someone with large followers. Here is the truth. Pain you don't heal from will become the pain you pass down. And if you don't rise above it, your children will inherit your battles, not your blessings. If you got value from this, make sure you share this to every single person who needs to hear this. Oh my God. That was powerful. That was powerful. Oh my God. Right now, we're actually seeing an increase in broken homes, an increase in people who are dissatisfied in their marriages. You're seeing people actually having philosophies and holding on to ideas that are actually very much negative, ideas that are not helpful for their marriages and relationships. People are so prepared for a situation of divorce in this time. People are fed with so much information to the point where they are more ready for the divorce than they are for the marriage. That's the dangerous part of all this. You can literally go into marriage expecting your husband to irritate you. You can go into marriage expecting your wife to get on your nerves. You can go into marriage expecting your spouse to cheat on you. Literally. You can go into marriage expecting your spouse to betray you. You can go into marriage with mistrust in your heart. And I'm telling you, with this mindset, a marriage cannot survive. You actually have a broken home. You may stay for 7 years, but it may not last beyond that, because marriages always go through ebbs and flows. Okay, it goes through ups and downs. Every marriage goes through that, and so it takes a mindset that is healthy to actually survive those lows. Are you hearing what I'm saying? And so when I'm saying that you need to examine yourself, you need to understand me here. You need to examine yourself. What have you believed? What is your posture? What is your disposition? How have you entered your own relationship? How have you entered your own marriage? Are you self-sabotaging? Are you a person who is actually working against that which you are actually trying to build? Are you fully committed to your marriage and relationship? You have to ask yourself these questions, because at the end of the day, the mindsets and philosophies that we adopt affect our experiences. They affect our commitment. They affect our investment into the very institutions that we're trying to build. Are you hearing what I'm saying? So I thought this was profound. This is what I wanted to share with you. I want to hear your thoughts in the comment section below. And I want you to tell me how this is relating with you. In this generation where so many people are so broken, people are coming from broken homes, I'm telling you, people are entering their relationships fearful, ready for divorce, ready for brokenness. And so because of that, they begin to take steps to sort of barricade themselves, to sort of protect themselves from these things that may come. But what if they don't come? And this is the posture you've taken for years. It'll be unfair. It will be detrimental to the very thing you're trying to build. Are you hearing what I'm saying? So this is what I had for you, man. Subscribe to the channel. Until next time, have a good one.